Chapter 13: Getting into the right business from the science of getting rich. Success in any particular business depends for one thing upon your possessing in a well-developed state that facilities required in that business. Without good musical faculty, no one can succeed as a teacher of music. Without well-developed mechanical facilities, no one can achieve great success in any of the mechanical trades. Without tact in the commercial facilities, no one can succeed in mercantile pursuits. But to possess in a well-developed state that facilities required in your particular vocation does not ensure getting rich. There are musicians who have remarkable talent and who yet remain poor. There are blacksmiths, carpenters, and so on who have excellent mechanical abilities but who do not get rich. And there are merchants with good facilities for dealing with men who nevertheless fail. The different facilities are tools. It is essential to have good tools, but it is also essential that the tools should be used in the right way. One man can take a sharp saw, a square, a good plane, and so on, and build a handsome article of furniture. Another man can take the same tools and set to work to duplicate the article, but his production will be a botch. He does not know how to use good tools in a successful way. So, your tools are important, but knowing how to use them, mastery over the tools is just as important. Some people learn just enough to get by, whereas, someone that has practiced the craft for years is more likely to be successful than someone that's just starting out to learn. But that shouldn't discourage you from learning. The various facilities of your mind are the tools with which you must do the work which is to make you rich. It will be easier for you to succeed if you get into a business for which you are well equipped with mental tools. Generally speaking, you will do the best in that business which will use the strongest facilities, the one for which you are naturally best fitted. But there are limitations to that statement also. No man should regard his vocation as being irrevocably fixed by the tendencies with which he was born. Then we have the works box. When you get to the place of loving what you do, nothing feels like work. You will ultimately do more, be more passionate, be more magnetic, and create from a higher level. So, some people are more gifted in certain areas, which is why some people are more passionate about one particular area than others. Someone might be enjoy being a plumber more than being in a cubicle making phone calls at a call center. You may get rich in any business, for if you have not the right talent, you can develop that talent. It merely means that you will have to make your tools as you go along, instead of confining yourself to the use of that with which you were born. It will be easier for you to succeed in a vocation for which you already have the talents in a well-developed state, but you can succeed in any vocation, for you can develop any rudimentary talent, and there is no talent of which you have not at least the rudiment. So, obviously, with hard work, you can learn something and develop the skills or talents. You might be a little bit behind someone that's, might have been born naturally with those talents, but, anyone can learn anything. You will get rich most easily in point of fact if you do that for which you are best fitted, but you will get rich most satisfactory if you do that with which you want to do. Doing what you want to do in life, and there is no real satisfaction in living if we are compelled to be forever doing something which we do not like to do. And we can never do what we want to do. And it is certain that you can do what you want to do. The desire to do it is proof that you have within you the power which can do it. And then we have a meditation box. All the riches in the world can buy you out of misery. Oh, can't buy you out of misery. They can certainly alleviate many of life's stresses, but riches without personal purpose and passion will not leave you feeling fulfilled. And, purpose, passion, and fulfillment are kind of feel like buzzwords these days. Do what you're passionate about. You have to do something with purpose to feel fulfilled. It kind of feels like a distraction from the science of getting rich, but it also, you're less likely to get burned out doing something you enjoy. Desire is a manifestation power. Desire to play music is a power which can play music seeking expression and development. The desire to invent mechanical devices is the mechanical talent seeking expression and development. Where there is no power, either developed or undeveloped, to do a thing, there is never any desire to do that thing. And where there is strong desire to do a thing, it is certain proof that the power to do it is strong, and only requires to be developed and applied the right way. So, it's kind of interesting, this paragraph talks about desire, where Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich seems to hammer across that, burning desire. And I normally don't think of the Science of Getting Rich talking about desire as much, but it does show up periodically. All things being equal, it is best to select the business for which you have the best developed talent. But if you have a strong desire to engage in any particular line of work, you should select that work as the ultimate end at which you aim. You can do what you want to do, and it is your right and privilege to follow the business or vocation which will be most congenial and pleasant. You are not obligated to do what you do not like to do, and should not do it except as a means to bring you to doing things you want to do. If there are past mistakes whose consequences have placed you in an undesirable business or environment, You may be obligated for some time to do what you do not like to do, but you can make the doing of it pleasant by knowing that it is making it possible for you to come to doing of what you want to do. And then the meditation box just says gratitude. If you feel that you are not in the right vocation, do not act too hastily in trying to get into another one. The best way, generally, to change business or environment is by growth. And it might not specifically say it there, but growth could be personal growth so that you can develop skills, or you can do, it says talent a lot in this chapter, so that you can develop things that can give you the opportunity to move into a different business or different environment. Do not be afraid to make a sudden and radical change if the opportunity is presented, and if you feel, after careful consideration, that is the right opportunity. But never take a sudden or radical action when you are in doubt as to the wisdom of doing so. There is never any hurry on the creative plane, and there is no lack of opportunity. So I guess I would say, just reflect, and, if you're showing doubt, there's always more opportunities out there. You don't have to jump on one opportunity when, creative substance might be saying, they're not this one, there's better, which can be hard to use discernment in the moment. Is this the opportunity that's trying to be presented to me, or is there something else I'm meant for? And then there's a meditation box. Remember to ask yourself if you're making a decision to avoid the fear you have, or if your gut instinct is telling you to follow your passions. There's often a fine line between your thought, which may be influenced by fear, and your instincts, which are always correct. Take time to be still and make sure you know where the decision is coming from. When you get out of the competitive mind, you will understand that you never need to act hastily. No one else is going to beat you to the thing you want to do. There is enough for all. If one space is taken, another and better one will be open for you a little farther on. There is plenty of time. When you are in doubt, wait. Fall back on the contemplation of your vision and increase your faith and purpose. And by all means, in times of doubt and indecision, cultivate gratitude. A day or two spent in contemplating the vision of what you want and in earnest thanksgiving that you are getting it will bring your mind into such close relationship with the Supreme that you will make no mistake when you do act. There is a mind which knows all there is to know, and you can come into close unity with this mind by faith and the purpose to advance in life if you have deep gratitude. Mistakes come from acting hastily or from acting in fear or doubt, or in the forgetfulness of the right motive, which is more life to all and less to none. As you go on in a certain way, opportunities will come to you in increasing number, and you will need to be very steady in your faith and purpose, and to keep in close touch with all mind by reverent gratitude. Do all that you can do in a perfect manner every day, but do it without haste, worry, or fear. Go as fast as you can, but never hurry. Remember that the moment you begin to hurry, you cease to be a creator and become a competitor. You drop back upon the old point again. Whenever you find yourself hurrying, call a halt. Fix your attention on the mental image of the thing you want and begin to give thanks that you are getting it. That exercise of gratitude will never fail to strengthen your faith and renew your purpose. And now we have the exercises at the back of the chapter. What are some times in my life where I ignored my gut instinct and did something I knew wasn't right? What were the results? What about times when I paused and followed my gut and make an amazing decision? How did that affect my life? So hopefully you found some value in this and keep checking back for some more The Science of Getting Rich. Thanks and have a good day.